Justin B. Terry Smith. He's an activist on HIV and also a writer and a blogger. He's openly gay, and today we're going to talk about different issues, but especially about HIV in the gay community. Hello, Justin.
Hello.
Hello, Justin.
Hello.
Okay, just briefly, what made you get involved in activism and HIV prevention?
Well, when I was diagnosed with HIV, I decided that I needed to turn myself around, turn my life around. And so in 2006, I was diagnosed, and in 2008, I started going on meds. So when I started going on meds, it really got me curious to see if maybe somebody's already videotaping this, or maybe somebody has a video journal where I can see and actually hear what's going on instead of having to read and people like with all their statistics and their jargon, medication jargon, I just couldn't handle it. So I looked and I couldn't find anything, and it really kind of pissed me off. Like, I couldn't find anything, especially not from the Black gay community. I said, okay, well, is there anybody that's chronologizing their life or recording their life with HIV? And I couldn't find it online where I could access it so easily. So I decided that I would do it, and I said, okay, well, I can do this, and I can do this for people that need help.
I know you are totally aware of things, but from time to time, do you believe that this has put a burden on your shoulders? I mean, what's your way of dealing with it?
I think I deal with it just like anybody else would. You just gotta take one day at a time. You have to take your meds when you're supposed to take them. It's a whole lifestyle change that you just have to get accustomed to. You have to.
Have you ever feel rejected?
I actually felt rejection before when telling somebody that I'm HIV positive that I want to date. There's a guy that I was dating, and I didn't tell him for like maybe until the second date. And when I told him, he said, he wanted to take me back to his house. And when I told him, he said, I think we better take you back to your house. And he dropped me off and literally said, don't call me ever again. And then, ironically, years later, he was positive. Because he came to me and emailed me and said, I don't know if you remember me, but we dated, and I had something to tell you. And I said, it's okay, I understand. I'm not mad at you. I'm not gonna say ha ha ha. That's
right. But at first you were probably crushed. And
I was upset. I was really upset because he was a nice guy, and he was a beautiful guy. He is a beautiful guy.
But you understood eventually, and that's one thing that people have to understand, that sometimes when people reject somebody, quote mark, who has HIV, is not because they don't like the person, but it's a natural reaction of protection,
and fear,
of course. And what the most meaningful things that you have achieved with the work that you do?
Well, one of the most meaningful things is actually being able to reach out to people that are younger than me, which I am surprised at. Like, I got calls and emails from people that are 19, 21, 22, and I'm only 30 myself. And then also I do get emails from people that are older than me, like in their 40s and 50s, saying thank you so much for doing this, because it's actually putting a face to this disease, and actually it's showing people that are not positive or that are just being diagnosed what they might have to go through with medications, clinic visits, paying for medications. My medications cost $1,800 without insurance.
Really?
$1,800 without insurance monthly. For 30 days.
How do you do?
But I got a new job. I work for the federal government now, which the benefits are great. And
so if you didn't have this job, you wouldn't be able to afford it?
If I didn't have this job, it would be hard for me to afford my HIV medication. Very hard. I'd be holding fundraisers for myself.
Well, I wasn't aware of that. You see, that's one of the things that a lot of people don't understand, because in one side, people talk about, yes, being HIV positive, you can continue your life normally, and you can have a productive life, but at the same time, it's a life full of, sacrifices.
Right. Yeah, and you have to, you have to kind of try to take care of yourself a little bit better. Like, I am a smoker, and it's been hard for me to quit, and I've been trying to quit for my own health. And drinking, I used to drink a lot. Like, I used to drink a lot. I drink now still, but I try to keep it under perspective. and I also have to stop myself sometimes from drinking so much.
And I was reading your blog, and one of the things that I saw was that you used to have a lifestyle that put you in risk, and maybe that's how you got infected, right?
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people who have HIV already, they believe that because they already have it, they shouldn't take care of themselves. What do you think of that?
You know, I do still know a lot of people that don't take care of themselves, that actually party a lot. And I mean party, when I mean party, I mean like, you know, crystal meth and like things like that. And, you know, I used to do cocaine. You know, that used to be my drug of choice, cocaine. I was so crazy back then. I was so crazy. I literally was going to drink and snort myself to death. But I know some other people that are still doing that, and I wish they would stop. But
what made you stop?
Honestly, I can say that my friends and my family kind of said, Justin, you are out of control, and if you want to be still our friends and my family, meaning my husband, you know, when I knew it, they were like, you need to stop, or else you're going to lose us. And I thought about it, and I said, you know what, I don't want to lose my friends, I don't want to lose my then boyfriend, I want to, you know, keep them around, and also I want to keep me around, you know, it affects your health. You know, people die all the time in their 20s and 30s of HIV. You don't really hear about it anymore because it's not so prevalent as it was back in the 80s and 90s, but they're still dying, and that's one of the reasons why I started Justin's HIV Journal.
And you have a relationship?
Yeah, I have a husband. We've been married.
You seem like you're very comfortable talking about HIV. A lot of people are not.
Yeah.
What took you there?
I think it was my first entry in Justin's HIV Journal. My first entry, I came out and said, I'm Justin B. Smith and I have HIV. And after that, after actually coming out online, people on the street would come up to me and say, hey, are you Justin? And I would say yes. And they're like, from Justin's HIV Journal, and say yes. And they would say, thank you so much for doing this, you know, or whatever. And so that kind of got me more comfortable in being who I am and owning what I have and actually making a difference and trying to make a difference.
But some people might be a little bit cynical and say, okay, but what do you do by just speaking out? What difference have you made on people like that? Specifically, what kind of reaction people get?
Well, the first reaction that I got, actually the very first reaction that I got was negative. Someone said, and I quote, so you got poked by a dirty dick. So what? Get over it.
Exactly.
And it was awful. And that was the first comment that I got from Justin's HIV Journal on my YouTube site. And I almost took the video down, but then like literally minutes later, I got 3 positive reactions. And I said, you know what, I need to keep with this. I need to do more with this. Something needs to be done. This needs to be told, and people need to see exactly what HIV is about, exactly what it does to somebody who has it. I mean, we need money.
And you also are on the Women Walker Clinic.
Yes, I'm on the board of directors for Women Walker Clinic, and it's a good clinic for. I mean, it was the first clinic I went to get help after I found out that I was positive, and their services there are great.
Okay, now I heard comments that things were not so well at the clinic, that the services changed a little bit. What's going on with my work?
Well, I'm gonna have to say no comment to that because I mean you have to understand that also in this time, in this day and age, it's a non-profit. Non-profits are dropping off like flies right now because the economy is just really bad. It's really, really bad, and so you know you can't blame the clinic for having to take drastic precautions to protect itself from having their doors shut. And we do need our donors. We do need you know, people to donate money because these services cannot be found anywhere else.
And what can people do to support a clinic?
What they can do is easily just go take advantage of the services there. There are discussion groups ranging from African American discussion groups, you know, youth discussion groups talking about HIV.
If people want to support financially, what can they do?
They can actually go to the clinic and actually find out through, there's somebody there at the door that actually find out exactly what they need to do. Personally, I send, my mother even sends a check to them, to Women Walker
Or
Clinic.
donate online.
Yeah, and donate online is fine. If you go to wwc.org, Women Walker Clinic pops up.
Where can people find your website?
people can either go to justinbsmith.com, and actually from there they can actually find my YouTube site, my Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, all of that. And also, but they can find my blog if they click on the tab that says Justin's HIV Journal or Justin's HIV. I'm on Blogger, so all you have to do is type in Justin's HIV Journal.
Well, it's been very nice talking to you, Justin. Thank you so much for giving me your time.
No problem.
Until the next time.